Hey, good evening, guys. This is Brad Varnell of the YouTube Living Channel here in Las Vegas, Nevada, coming at you from the Planet Fitness. Just finished day 7 of the 90-day gym challenge, and this is going to be day 7 of the YouTube video challenge too. Anyways, I hope you all are doing fantastic. I hope you had a great weekend. And I hope that you've had a chance to listen to a few videos over the last week and maybe starting to think of some things in your life that you might want to go to work on. So I would want to start maybe off by telling a little story, only my mind just went blank and I'm trying to remember which one it was. But the biggest thing that's on my mind is I've been listening to a couple of guys that have really motivated me in my challenges in life. One of them is Eric E.T. Thomas and the other one is Gary Vee, who both have some incredible content. In fact, they got a lot better content than me. If I was you, I'd go listen to them. But they have been pretty inspiring to me because one of the things that they really talk about a lot, especially Gary Vee, is patience. He was talking about a gal that had came to him with an idea, and he says that he's got a lot of people that come to him with different ideas that are looking, for his opinion on whether or not this is a good financial, business idea and stuff like that. And from what he says, about 49 out of 50 people that talk to him don't have a good idea. But this lady came to him, and at the end of her presentation, he told her, you know what, you have an incredible idea. You have a fantastic idea, and you go to work and you put in the blood, the sweat, and the tears and do this thing. And in the next 5, 6, 7 years, you are going to have, you're going to be a millionaire. You're going to have an incredible business. You're going to have your dreams. You're going to be able to live the life that you want to live and do what you want to do. And instead of being excited by that, she was like, oh, 7 years? And he was like, what the heck? You're 27. So here I am telling you that by the time you're 34, if you roll up your sleeves and go put in your 10, 12, 14 hours a day for the next 7 years, you can have everything you want in life, and that makes you sad? And he just, he was exasperated, and it made me think about so many times in my life where I wanted something fast, and they talk about quitting before you get there, that you dug 90% of the way to success and haven't seen the success, and so you stop. And so for me, it's been very motivational in my financial journey and my cryptocurrency business, because at the end of 2017, I jumped into cryptocurrency after a good friend of mine had made a lot of money in the year of 2017. And then in about a 2-month period of time, mid-December, towards the end of December of 2017 until the beginning of February in 2018, he really crushed it. And I was blessed. I jumped in the middle of December and bought a coin that I had done some research on and that I had believed in and that I was excited about, and it actually went up by 12 times my money over about the next month or so. The only trouble was I was just getting started and being a little bit new and not having the resources that I would have liked to have had. I made some money on that trade, but it wasn't anywhere near life-changing, because even 12 times my original investment wasn't enough to do a whole lot. But it got me excited about the future and what could happen. And then over the last 12, 13 months, the cryptocurrency market has slowly declined and gone down by about 80%. But the incredible thing for me is, because of my life experiences leading up to here, every time the market dipped, it didn't bother me, because I'd done my research, I had done the due diligence, I knew what blockchain technology was and how it's going to change the world. So I was actually pretty excited because I got an opportunity to buy some tokens that I never thought I would be able to get, or the amount of them that I would be able to get, because the market was actually, went down pretty substantially over this last year. So although my initial investment is much lower than it was when I originally made it. I am excited because I haven't sold anything. I'm totally patient. I know that in the next 2 to 5 years, when the market rebounds and things take off, it's going to be unbelievable. It'd be like owning Microsoft when it was, $10, and then it slowly went down to $1 or $2. And yeah, you're a little bit upset about the fact that you bought Microsoft at $10 and now you can buy it at $1 or $2. But as long as you haven't sold it and you've been buying as it went down to $1 or $2, think about where you would have been. So if you'd have bought Microsoft in 1990 at $10, and by 1991, 1992, it was down to $1 or $2, and you just kept on buying it, think about how happy you would have been come 1995, 1996, 2000. You'd have been a multimillionaire. And so I know with my cryptocurrency business that's kind of, what's going on, and patience-wise, and also with working out and losing weight, you got to realize that we didn't gain this weight, at least I didn't, in 3 months or 6 months or a year or 2 or 5. Maybe 5. I gained a good chunk of the weight. The first time I quit smoking, I gained some weight. And then like a dummy, I went back and smoked some cigarettes again after a couple of years of quitting. I smoked for a while again. And when I quit, I gained some more weight. And that was a big part of the process. Before I started smoking, I was an athlete. And by the time I was done smoking, I was 50, 60 pounds heavier than I was originally. And a lot of things in my life had changed. I wasn't a teenager anymore, wasn't a young 20-year-old. I started smoking for the first time when I was about 20 years old, like a dummy. Fell in love with a girl that smoked, and that's all she wrote. Anyways, I'm happy to announce that I will be smoke-free now for 20 years in September. September of 1999, I quit smoking. And one of the things that is good about me in some ways is that when I really put my mind to something, I'm pretty good at quitting. I quit drinking about 8 years ago, not because I had a problem with alcohol, but I have a family that has a lot of problems with alcohol. My grandfather was an alcoholic who never quit drinking, and unfortunately ended up losing my grandmother over it and ended up in a nursing home. My father was an alcoholic, and thank God, about 3 months before I was born, my mom told him to either quit drinking or get out. And so he made the decision to quit drinking, and therefore I have a father that has been sober now for going to be 46 years in May, I believe it is, of this year. I've never seen him take a drink. I turned 46 in July. He quit drinking May before I was born, so I've never seen him take a drink. And but I have sisters and aunts and uncles and all sorts of people that have been affected by alcohol. And so I was in my church listening to a pastor talk a little bit about alcohol and how if you wanted to work in the church with him, that he just, that you couldn't drink. And not that I'm working in the church with him at this point, but anyways, his sermon kind of inspired me. And I realized that the handful of times a year that I was drinking, and in general, normally when I drank, I got drunk. They weren't adding anything to my life. Nothing good was coming from the alcohol that I was consuming when I consumed it. And I just saw a lot of people in my life that I loved and cared about and that were struggling. And so just as a way to kind of support them and to just, because in my heart, I felt like I would be better off not drinking. I haven't drank now for about 8 years. But when I quit smoking, kind of a funny story, I was with a good friend of mine, and he's actually my boss at the time, or I had actually just quit working for him, and we were just meeting up to eat. And it'd been a couple of weeks since I hadn't worked for his company, and we went out to eat. And I just bought a pack of cigarettes, and we went and had a meal. And I smoked, it was a sports bar, so I smoked like 2, 3, 4 of the cigarettes while we were eating inside the sports bar. When we walked out of the sports bar and we were headed back towards our car, he said, "Brad, when are you going to quit smoking?" And I told him right now. And I literally handed him that pack of cigarettes with the 17 cigarettes and the lighter in it. And I handed it to him, and I've never smoked a cigarette since. And the kind of the funny part of the story was him and I met up about 2 weeks later to have lunch again. And, he he saved the pack of cigarettes in the lighter in case I hadn't quit smoking. So we're eating lunch and he's like, so, did you quit smoking? And I said, yeah, I quit smoking. Yeah, I told you I was quitting. Of course I quit. And he said, oh, okay, so should I just throw these away? And he pulled out the cigarettes in the lighter and I said, yeah, man, throw that shit away. I'm not smoking anymore. Get rid of it. I'm done. And so, here I am about 20 years away from, smoking and 8 years with no booze. And it's been kind of great. I met my wife a little over 5 years ago. She had 2 children before we met, and so it's kind of nice. Neither one of those kids have ever seen me take a drink, and hopefully as they get older and start taking on life, they'll be, a little bit more wary of alcohol because of the stories that I've told them, and they'll also, have seen the example that we've set for them moving forward in life. Excuse me. But, long story short, it takes patience in this old life to get to where you want to be. And so I just hope that, you're starting to think, ask yourself better questions, think about what you want. If you go listen to Tony Robbins or Gary Vaynerchuk or Eric Thomas or anybody that is truly, truly successful, they almost always start off with the first step of having success in your life is knowing what you want. You gotta know what you want. If you don't know what you want, you're just wandering around aimlessly, you most likely aren't gonna enjoy where you end up in life. So there's a little bit of homework for you guys. Go ahead and think about what you want over the next 24 to 48 hours, financially, health-wise, relationship-wise, any other wise, and, get it written down. It can start off as a rough draft. You can change it. What you want today isn't probably going to be what you want in a year or 2 or 5, but you still got to get something written down, get rolling in the right direction. So my wife here just walked up behind me. She's been a heck of a great influence on me. Hey there, babe. I love her so much, and I thank you so much, babe, for all that you do for me. She makes this so much easier as far as making my food, laying out my gym clothes for me, and just, it's a true blessing. One of the other neat things about this, if you have kids and you have family and stuff, as you start making these positive changes in your life, hopefully, they come along with you. Our daughter is doing fantastic. She was never really overweight, but at the same time, she's lost about 10 pounds and just looks fantastic. Our son is doing great. They're all getting into this mindset of, hey, I am in control of my destiny, and learning to set goals and all sorts of exciting things in their life. So this has just been a great journey. And with that, I love you guys all, and I thank you for watching us, and God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.